Once upon a time, in a land where magic whispered through every blade of grass, there lay the enchanting kingdom of Eldoria, nestled between rolling emerald hills and wrapped in a veil of whispers and mist. This realm was a haven of beauty and wonder. At the heart of Eldoria stood the majestic castle, its spires reaching towards the heavens, home to the beloved Princess Lyra. Princess Lyra was known throughout the land for her kind heart and gentle spirit. Her laughter was said to make flowers bloom, and her smile could brighten even the darkest of days. With hair as golden as the morning sun and eyes that sparkled like dewdrops, she was the very essence of grace and beauty. But all was not well in the fair kingdom of Eldoria. For as long as anyone could remember, the land had been blessed with crystal clear wellsprings that nourished the earth and sustained all life. These magical waters flowed from the depths of the earth, bringing vitality and abundance to every corner of the realm. Yet, as the seasons turned, a strange and terrible thing began to happen. The once bountiful wellsprings started to falter. Their sparkling waters grew thin and weak, barely a trickle where once mighty streams had flowed. The whisper of the dying wellsprings echoed through the land, a mournful sound that filled every heart with dread. The people of Eldoria grew fearful as their crops withered and their animals grew thin. They turned to their wise king for guidance, but even he was at a loss. The court magicians and learned scholars pored over ancient tomes, seeking answers, but found none. It was then that Princess Lyra, her heart heavy with the suffering of her people, made a fateful decision. She would embark on a perilous journey to seek help from the one being who might have the power to save their land, the great Dragon King, Ignis. Ignis dwelled in the forbidding Ember Mountains, a place of jagged peaks and smoldering rock. Few had ever dared to venture there, and fewer still had returned. But Princess Lyra knew that she must try, for the sake of her kingdom and all who called it home. As dawn broke on the day of her departure, Princess Lyra donned a cloak of midnight blue, adorned with silver stars. She carried with her only a small satchel of provisions and a heart full of courage. The people of Eldoria gathered to bid her farewell, their hopes and prayers going with her. The journey to the Ember Mountains was long and fraught with danger. Lyra crossed vast plains and dark forests, climbed treacherous cliffs, and braved raging rivers. But through it all, she never lost sight of her purpose. The whisper of the dying wellsprings echoed in her ears, spurring her onward. At last, after many days of travel, Princess Lyra stood at the foot of the Ember Mountains. The air shimmered with heat, and the ground beneath her feet pulsed with an ancient power. Taking a deep breath, she began to climb. Higher and higher she went, until the world below was lost in a sea of clouds. The rocks around her glowed with an inner fire, and the very air seemed alive with magic. Finally, as she rounded a bend in the narrow path, Princess Lyra found herself face to face with the Dragon King himself. Ignis was a sight to behold. His scales gleamed like polished obsidian, reflecting the molten glow of the mountain's heart. His eyes burned with the wisdom of ages, and when he spoke, his voice rumbled like distant thunder. "Who dares to enter my domain?" Ignis demanded, his massive form coiled atop a throne of crystallized fire. Princess Lyra, though trembling inside, stood tall and met the Dragon King's gaze. "I am Princess Lyra of Eldoria," she said, her voice clear and strong. "I come seeking your help. great Ignis, for my kingdom is in dire need." Ignis regarded her with curiosity, his ancient eyes seeming to peer into her very soul. "And why?" he asked. "Should I care about the troubles of mortals?" With all the eloquence she could muster, Princess Lyra told Ignis of the dying wellsprings and the suffering of her people. She spoke of the balance of nature and how the blight upon Eldoria could spread, affecting even the Ember Mountains in time. As she spoke, something in Ignis's expression changed. The sternness in his eyes softened, replaced by a glimmer of understanding. When Lyra finished her tale, the Dragon King was silent for a long moment. "You show great courage, young princess," Ignis said at last. "Few would dare to come here, and fewer still would speak to me with such honesty and passion. Your words have moved me." With a grace that belied his enormous size, Ignis rose and beckoned for Lyra to follow him. He led her deep into the heart of the mountain, to a cavern that pulsed with magical energy. At its center lay a pool of liquid fire, casting dancing shadows on the walls. "The wellsprings of your land and the fires of these mountains are connected," Ignis explained. "Long ago, a great magic bound them together, ensuring balance and harmony. But that magic has weakened over time." Princess Lyra listened intently, hope blossoming in her heart. "Can it be restored?" she asked. Ignis nodded slowly. "It can, but it will require a great sacrifice. The ritual to renew the bond is dangerous and requires both dragon fire and the pure heart of a mortal." Without hesitation, Lyra stepped forward. "I offer myself," she said, "for my people, for Eldoria. I will do whatever is necessary." The Dragon King looked at her with newfound respect. "Very well," he said. "Let us begin." What followed was a ceremony unlike anything Lyra had ever experienced. She stood at the edge of the fiery pool, while Ignis circled above, chanting in an ancient tongue. The air crackled with power, and Lyra felt a warmth spreading through her body. As the ritual reached its peak, Ignis breathed a stream of shimmering fire that enveloped Lyra. For a moment, she feared she would be consumed, but instead, she felt only a gentle warmth. The fire swirled around her, then shot upwards, bursting through the mountain's peak and spreading across the sky like a river of light. When it was over, Princess Lyra found herself standing unharmed, though she felt changed in ways she couldn't quite explain. Ignis landed beside her, a look of satisfaction on his face. "It is done," he said. "The bond between the wellsprings and the mountain's fire has been renewed. Your land will flourish once more." Overwhelmed with gratitude, Lyra bowed deeply to the Dragon King. "Thank you, great Ignis," she said. "Eldoria will forever be in your debt." Ignis shook his massive head. "It is I who should thank you, Princess Lyra. Your bravery and selflessness have reminded me of the importance of harmony between all living things. From this day forward, let there be friendship between your people and mine." With a heart full of joy and hope, Princess Lyra began her journey back to Eldoria. As she traveled, she saw signs of renewal everywhere. Streams that had been dry now bubbled with clear water, and withered plants sprang back to life before her eyes. When at last she reached the borders of her kingdom, Princess Lyra was met with a sight that brought tears to her eyes. The wellsprings were flowing once more, stronger and more vibrant than ever before. The land was awash with new growth, and the air rang with the sound of bird song and laughter. The people of Eldoria welcomed their princess home with great celebration. They listened in awe as she recounted her adventure and spoke of the wisdom and kindness of the Dragon King. From that day forward, the bond between Eldoria and the Ember Mountains grew stronger, like the roots of an ancient oak. Princess Lyra ruled her kingdom with compassion and wisdom, never forgetting the lessons she had learned on her journey. And high in the Ember Mountains, the Dragon King Ignis watched over the land, a silent guardian of the delicate balance between fire and water, earth and sky. And so, dear listeners, our tale comes to an end. But remember, the magic of understanding, empathy, and courage lives on in each of us. For in every heart lies a potential for greatness, and in every challenge, an opportunity for growth and harmony. May your own adventures be filled with wonder, and may you always find the courage to face whatever challenges lie ahead. For who knows, your own tale of bravery and kindness might one day be told, echoing through the ages like the timeless story of the Obsidian Heart and the Rosepetal Princess.